tracking Hurricane Helene, which is now a Category 3 hurricane, and it'll be bringing in a lot of impactful weather going on into tonight. I'll have details coming up.
Right now, on News Channel 6 at 4, we are keeping a close eye on our counties as this rough weather rolls in. The News Channel 6 team has crews all across the area.
We will cover the impacts of Helene as it gets closer to where you live, as your News at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you for joining us. Behind us is a live look at Key West, Florida, where folks are bracing for Helene. The hurricane isn't expected to make landfall until tonight, but we are already starting to see the impact here in our area.
News Channel 6 has crews standing by right now, but before we get to their reports, let's check in with meteorologist Miller Hyatt tracking the path of Helene. Miller?
Brad, Jenny, that is right. We are...
All right, Miller, thank you. Hurricane Helene is bringing tremendous rainfall to Columbia County.
Yards along William Few Parkway beside Windmill Plantation are flooding for the second time this year. Don't believe me? Take a look at where Hannah Latier is. Live now with the latest. Hannah?
That's right, Brad and Jenny. Well, by 9 a.m., that flooding had covered most of the driveways of the homes behind me, and it had receded by noon. But as you can see, and I'm going to step out of the way here, it has gone back up again due to the constant rainfall that we've been getting. And homeowners have experienced similar flooding a few months ago. The video that we are about to show you, we did shoot earlier today, and so it is a lot worse now than it was a few hours ago. A lot of the homes here are low-lying and have a drainage system running underneath them that neighbors say overflows when it rains hard. Columbia County EMA leaders tell us stormwater crews are making rounds throughout the county today, clearing drains and culverts, including the ones that are here. One neighbor we spoke to says the flooding he sees at his house isn't as bad as his neighbors, but it's already broken the fence in his backyard.
The water itself, the flow, burst through my fence because you hear the roar of the creek here, and that flow back there. I mean it's pretty fast. How heavy the flow of rain is with the creek here, it's concerning.
And Columbia County schools are closed tomorrow. EMA leaders are expecting the worst of the impact starting this evening, but Patriots Park is open throughout the morning for anybody who needs to come in and get out of the storm. They are asking you to get there as early as possible and bring anything that you need. And if you haven't already, please sign up for the county's Hyper Reach Emergency Alert System. For now, live in Evans, Hannah Latier, WJBF News Channel 6.
Well, you just heard Hannah say this, and it's important for you to know if you live in Columbia County and you do need a place to stay overnight, Patriots Park Gymnasium is going to stay open. They want to make sure, though, that you get to that facility before the worst of the storm hits, and that's going to be after midnight tonight.
Some schools moving their Friday night football matchups because of the threat of severe weather. That includes Thompson, where tomorrow's football game has been moved to October 18th. Friday classes canceled in McDuffie County. School districts in Richmond County, Aiken County, Bamberg, Edgefield, McCormick, and Saluda all doing e-learning tomorrow. Teachers and staff will work remotely. We do have a full list of school closings on our website at WJBF.com. One of our western counties expected to get hit hardest by Helene is Johnson County, where they have already seen 6 inches of rain and counting today. Graham Lee, live outside Wrightsville, Georgia with that. Graham?
Well, Brad, Jenny, fortunately now we're inside the Wrightsville Fire Department's drive, but it's safe to say the best word to describe our trip down here to Johnson County is adventure. Now, you'll see some of these images right here, but my photographer Reggie and I spent more than 2 hours stuck in mud on a dirt road close by. The road was actually so bad that a tow company that came to get us, they also got stuck, so we called in a neighbor close by with a tractor, and he pulled us out of the ditch and back onto the road. Shout out to Off-Road Holland for getting us out of that ditch. Now, as for Johnson County, the EMA director expects them to get up to 9 or 10 inches of rain by the end of the night. As you said, Brad, they've already seen 6 inches so far today before the storm masses. So far, not too many damages to report, but that rain has caused flooding in several and washed out roads in areas around the county. The storm, as you know, will hit close to 8 p.m. tonight, and we'll continue to keep you updated as in throughout the evening. Live in Wrightsville, Graham Lee, WJBF, News Channel 6.
All right, Graham, thank you so much for that report. Coverage you can count on continues now with wall-to-wall updates on Hurricane Helene as the outer bands move across our area. Bria Smith, live outside Television Park. She spoke with Aiken County Public Safety about how they're preparing. Bria.
That's right, Jenny. And public city administrators say so far there are no impacts by Helene within Aiken County other than rain, but they are prepared in case there might be. David Myers, the public information officer for Aiken County Emergency Services, he says while there have been no reported damages like power outages, downed trees, and or power lines, they're keeping boots on ground and their ears to the street for any potential damage. Myers suggests resources like Code Red Weather Alert, which gives continuous alerts on hurricane and storm updates as well as damage. That can be found on the Aiken County Code Red sign-up page. He says being proactive in situations like this is what's most important.
I always want to plan ahead, secure belongings that are at your house, furniture that's outside, take care of your pets, other things. Be careful where you're driving, when you're driving. Try to stay off the roadways if at all possible with heavy rain. The acronym, the turnaround, don't drown issue is important. Only takes a foot of water to rushing water to take a car off the roadway.
Does say to use the 211 assistance line if you do need any kind of assistance, and that's non-emergency, in order to keep the 911 emergency line free to those who do need it. And we'll keep you updated with more on Aiken County as we learn it should Helene make her impact there. But for now, reporting live from Television Park, Bria Smith, WJBF, News Channel 6.
Bria, thank you. Bamberg County already dealing with the effects of the severe weather. These are photos provided by officials there in Bamberg County. Drivers are asked to avoid Highway 301 in the city due to the heavy flooding, and Highway 78 is being shut down near Tractor Road after 4 people had to be rescued. An emergency shelter is now open at Bamberg First Baptist Church on Heritage Highway. We will continue bringing you coverage from our local counties as Helene approaches. Be sure to stay with us through the evening. In other news now, the fallout continues over the forced resignations of senior Augusta employees. Lisa Scharouse has worked in city government for more than 45 years, all with former finance director Donna Williams. She says she was shocked that Williams was forced out by commissioners Tuesday with no advanced warning. Scharouse says she now plans to retire from the city as soon as she can because of the way Williams was treated.
You take pride in what you do. To be politically assassinated was uncalled for. It was unwarranted.
Scharouse says the treatment of Williams has deeply affected the morale in the finance office. She says it's as if someone has died.
Education leaders across South Carolina trying to tackle what they say is a big problem in the state schools, chronic absenteeism. That's when a student is absent for at least 10% of the school year, and state leaders say it's gotten worse since the pandemic. They're now trying to figure out why students are missing so many days every year. Focus groups and studies are in the works to understand the driving factors behind this.
We've been working with a vendor who is going to do these do the focus groups for us and facilitate that. And we will observe, and then from that we will have a report issue that we hope that we can provide to help legislators, give them some insight more into this issue and possibly think of some recommendations that they could come away from that.
The chronic absenteeism numbers from last school year should be out by the end of this year. We'll be right back.
Coming up next, the hard work it took for one woman to become a NASA astronaut.
The lessons she hopes to teach others when we return.
NASA NASA's motto is for the benefit of all, and the work of one scientist is doing just that. Shamir Maldonado Rivera wanted to work for NASA since she was a child.
She talked to Roosevelt Leftwich about the challenges she faced and the obstacles she's overcome.
It's a steady hum, one that you would just put out of your mind if you worked around the clean room at NASA Glenn. The things that are made inside need to be free of any sort of contamination, and that means any contamination, from dandruff to tiny particles from a shoe that could change the material's properties, because the sensitive electronics made inside these rooms might one day do wonders.
The applications that we have here, we have pressure sensors for high temperatures, you know, that we are monitoring aircraft. We have devices that are meant for future science missions, like Planet Venus, for example.
For 27-year-old Shamir Maldonado Rivera, working for NASA became a goal from the time she was in elementary school and found out that she was very good at science and math. And her family found out that one should never, ever underestimate the determination of a little girl who didn't want to play with just toys.
I was only like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. My mom was like, why you want a telescope? You're so like little like that. But yeah, I got it, and I remember spending a lot of time in the night, like looking at the moon, the craters in the moon, and all that.
Shamir wanted to work for NASA, and nothing was going to stop her. When she couldn't get into the engineering school, she studied applied physics in college instead. And when she didn't have a job lined up, she just packed up and moved stateside and placed a really big bet on herself.
When I came to the U.S., like I said, I didn't know any English. My mom was like, when I let my mom know that I was coming, she was like, but you don't know any English. I was like, I'll figure it out. So that's always my motto. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out.
And Shamir figured it out big time, just by going for it. She learned English by jumping right in. And now she has not just one, but 2 jobs at NASA. As one of the Spanish voices of NASA's traveling science exhibits.
When I was growing up, NASA didn't have a Spanish channel community that I was able to understand their concepts of the things that we're doing. And now here, using my voice, we're able to translate those concepts, hard concepts, in a more simple language for Hispanic communities to understand.
And by building that understanding, Shamir hopes that when people hear her voice and she talks to children in person, especially young girls, she wants them to know that if they have the will and the desire to learn, they can. And just like she did, just figure it all out. She wants them to also be that little kid with the telescope and very, very big ideas.
A lot of times we think that we cannot make it. We think we're not smart enough. We think that we need a PhD to be in NASA. All these things, just don't listen to those things. Just keep pushing, and if that's something that you want to do, just keep working for it.
You can find out more about NASA's Spanish language programming at nasa.gov. There it is, /ES.
And in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, News Channel 6 will air a special program highlighting Hispanic culture. Brad and I hope to join us Sunday, October 13th at 5:30 p.m. We'll be right back.
Weather headlines on WJBF News Channel 6. Brought to you by Hickson Roofing. If your roof needs fixing, call Mr. Hickson.
You come to the hog. The world's oldest cheese was recently discovered.
But it's where it turned up that is raising a few eyebrows. It was hung on necklaces. And those necklaces were found on 3,600-year-old mummies from China. DNA testing reveals it was kefir cheese.
It's now the oldest cheese sample ever to be found in the world. No word on why it was smeared on the necks and faces of these mummies.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think other cultures do that so that when they bury people, they have something to eat.
Okay. Ward off spirits, maybe, the smell? I don't know.
There is more coverage you can count on at 4:30.
Including what's behind the investigation of the mayor of New York City. D is